Oxy, we used to have a handyman that would fix appliances, but we don't have that anymore, so. And, but I'd like to thank the city for allowing us to utilize the upstairs of the municipal building the many years that they have. We do pay a small minimal rent, but we bring in almost $35,000 to $40,000 a year that goes back into the hospital, the resident care facility, scholarships and that, and we do try to give most of that back every year. So I just wish to thank the city for your support.
Thank you for having that service.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda this evening is the consent agenda. If no questions, I entertain a motion to pass it in its entirety.
So moved.
And moved by Councilman Graybon that we approve the consent agenda for 917 in its entirety. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Miller. Any discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same.
It's Chief Elam.
Okay, he's got to wait. He's late. We'll come back.
I'm good. I got a whole section dedicated for y'all, so you go right ahead on and we'll pick
Okay,
up where we left off.
yeah, I missed you there, but go ahead.
You're all right, boss. Nope, I have an item up.
He's gonna wait, save all his words for that next.
Well, this is the only chance you have, I'm sorry.
No, I got another one down here.
It's a revised agenda, Dave.
Well, nobody, well, yeah, I'm still
We took you
there.
off.
He's still on it.
Yeah. Dang it, okay. Next up-
You almost got me, boss.
Money. Next item under ordinances is ordinance 2260, special event license for the Beloit Booster Club. Any questions, comments? No questions, entertain a motion to approve. This is something new, I think.
I don't know, is it new or just, I mean, this is what the state requires us to do to,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's just like the kettle.
Oh, I'll share with you.
But there's a map that she had out. for-
Yeah, the
do
map
a
may not-
fundraiser for the Beloit Booster Club.
But basically, all we need is approve it.
Yeah.
it's-
Entertain a motion for approval, if there's no questions. Been moved by Councilman Gingler that we approve the ordinance 2260, special event license for the Beloit Booster Club. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman McMillan. Tigers are there. Okay, any further discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Next item is ordinance 2261, a stop sign on Lincoln and 13th Street. Any questions on this?
So moved.
Been moved by Councilman Miller, we approve the ordinance 2261, the stop sign on Lincoln and 13th Street. Have a second by Councilman Graybon. Any discussion?
I actually had somebody come up to me and said, I heard you're gonna do that, thank you, so.
Good.
Well, when they complain, I'll send them the, I'll
Yeah,
like,
you can say what you're gonna
just kidding.
And you still said we have openings on the council. Okay, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Ordinance passes. Next item on the agenda this evening is a special event license and anniversary special at the Heineken Electric Company.
That's fine here. Why is this coming to the council? I guess we're on private property and stuff. I mean, what's,
Yeah,
is there a, do they have to come to the council? I mean,
not,
that's
no,
what I'm
they,
trying to figure
I guess
out.
they don't, I think Doug, this is kind of Doug's thing, and so his logic, I guess they were concerned that people would wonder what's going on or whatever else, so they just wanted to be extra covered, so that it's,
See, I thought it was because maybe because of the late night, the fact it's.
well, maybe that's what it is too, I guess.
Is there any ordinances in place to regulate how late they can go with their shindig? They can go all night long?
Well,
So this approves that then?
In my opinion, midnight's usually what you do your special event licenses for.
Yeah.
I mean, you can set that, you guys can set that when you
7-11.
do your resolution.
So 11 o'clock will be the.
well, it's the usual normal
Okay.
thing, but they're asking for 7 to midnight.
Oh, okay, I missed that. Okay. Any more questions?
even on private property?
Do we,
They can't,
I can see a noise ordinance maybe.
It's gonna be outdoors, that's the only thing, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Doug is wanting to, was suggesting it as an abundance of caution, and yeah, Mandy said the same thing all week, I don't.
Yeah, I didn't understand the
think
private
he
property,
would.
but I understand his viewpoint, he didn't want them to.
So he gets up with them, then they always, I don't know.
I have no problem.
I
going
tell
forward
them,
with
I mean, I just.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not required, we didn't require them to do this, I guess, I don't know if
They're
that.
just being extra good, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's how I took it.
So moved.
I don't know.
Yeah.
can we charge like $500?
If it was nutrient, we would.
I would if I was having one. Okay, do I have a
Motion
motion?
and second.
Motion by Councilman Graybon to approve the special event license at anniversary celebration, second by Councilman McMillan. Any further discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Next item is the transportation truck purchase. I think before we'd authorized some funding for this, and it sounds like we need some more funding
Well,
to get where we need to get.
well, we had, yeah, because we had purchased something
Sure.
before, so this is kind of a new request, just because about a year later, and I should probably have a fleet list, but I mean, it's 70s, I mean, it might be some late 60s stuff in that little slide
There
truck.
is.
There is, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's basically, like this one we would be trying to replace, it actually has a welded rear axle, I mean, it's because actually the axle broke, but it still works, but, again, we've just had really good luck picking these up we picked up that flatbed international, and it's kind of a dump truck for us about 2 years ago for, I think about 20 grand, and then that KDOT truck for about 20,000, and this is just, we also use these single axles a lot, just because they're real nimble, and they just fit for what we need, and so again, we just precipitated this, and we found some good ones on auction, but they went higher than what I could do, so I thought, hey, you know what, we're just gonna kind of give ourselves some permission basically, so it may not, from the auctions I've seen, there may not be anything, I've looked at a couple different sites, there may not be anything for even through this year, but, hopefully, there might be, but at least the next 2 or 3 months still, but.
So those ones that you showed us have already closed?
Correct.
Okay.
Those are just examples,
Okay.
we really wanted to get those, but it just went too high too
Nice
fast.
looking truck.
And we weren't paying, it's one of those, it's kinda like, oh shoot, it's like 2 days after the count, like, oh, these are gone there, and that whole wash, of course, they start out like 6,000, 7,000, like, oh, we'll ride them for a little while, and they just go, but, exactly, they're great, fairly low mileage, used by a city, really clean, I mean, it's.
What'd they go for?
22 to 23.
About 20 to 23, yeah, so, yeah, great machines, and again, I bought new ones, there's, as you all know, they're way more expensive, so,
So,
yeah.
Been moved by Councilman Miller that we approve the transportation truck purchase not to exceed $25,000. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Councilman McMillan. Any discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a police vehicle purchase, and we'll get some input on Dave on this, I think. And so, we'll go to that.
Well, much like the transportations and their auctions, that's what these are. We've already lost that truck, it's gone. But they have several like that coming in, they're all police packages. We don't have to order and we don't have to pay $40,000. And we can spend the extra money to buy equipment for the vehicle, new radars, new cameras. We have a lot of dated equipment right now, and we need to start moving towards replacing that stuff. SUVs are just like really expensive to buy new. The Explorers and the Durangos are about the only ones you got besides the Tahoe, but I'm not gonna pay 40 grand. So we were looking at this as an option to save some money and replace equipment. We just kinda need a nod of approval, yeah or no, you guys are okay with that, or do you want me to stay by brand new?
Question for you, are you able to get somebody to go and take a look, just to make sure the mechanicals are good?
We have a guy that, his daughter will be graduating basic from the Navy, up around the Chicago area, and he would be able to stop in and look at it and decide if that's what we wanna do or not. However, I mean, it's kind of one of the deals, like, it's like an auction, transportation's in the same deal. are they gonna send somebody to Texas to go look at it before we buy it? This is kind of an experiment, not to get a whole lot of money into it, just to see if it's gonna work for us. And look at something like every other year, we buy a new one, and then we buy a used one, because SUVs cost so much versus the all-wheel drive Chargers. So that's just a plan. We've kind of discussed it back and forth with the city manager. It's just a way for us to save some money and buy new equipment instead of putting old equipment back in a vehicle.
Okay, now this is an auction or is not?
It's actually a car company in Chicago. For some reason, they specialize in police vehicles. If you look, the mileage is pretty low. All the police specs are there for if we built one.
But it's not an auction per se.
But it's not an auction, but anybody can come buy them at any time.
Okay.
This one is actually gone.
You have a set price on what they're gonna sell, okay.
Yeah, they have a set price. I won't have to get in a bidding war, but if you give me the nod, we can negotiate with them and see how low we can get.
Is there any warranty on any of it, or is it sort of straight away?
Pretty much when we drive away with it, it's ours.
You're lucky.
My only concern is I do know the abuse that a city vehicle can take, especially on transmissions, if they're getting involved in a lot of.
In my opinion, if I was a betting man, these were like administrator vehicles based on the mileage in the year. They're not being driven a whole lot, so more than likely they didn't get in a whole lot of pursuits. You know, if you had a captain, a major, whatever. But if you look at their mileage for the year, you can that's not a patrol vehicle.
The one they had before, like in 2011, they actually had 40,000 miles on it, so really, but who knows, yeah. Being different as an option, we kind of have our vehicle rotation, there's nothing risk with this, right? We had kind of our vehicle rotation plan, and what we're kind of running, it's like, hey, we could keep getting Chargers, which are the most affordable thing, you're not spending a whole lot of money on those. Or do we say, hey, we kind of want an SUV, something heavier duty, and we found even with the last one, we were able to get, roughly 130.
Our last one, this model,
It's still going.
we got over 151,000 miles on it, and Parks and Recs is driving it now.
Yeah. And we're fine with our Charger, I think you saw that in the write-up, and I've heard this a little bit of those Hemis. They're in a good motor, but for some reason, that type of.
Our older Chargers are not holding up very well.
We have a new engine, one of them right now, the Chrysler, actually had to kind of really twist their arm to put in there, but they're definitely.
I think Dodge is having a problem with.
They're having troubles, yeah, exactly.
They are, yes,
They're great cars, though.
they are.
Everything else is solid on them, so it's kind of want to keep nursing them along, but we thought, and,
But if we give another year, maybe they can come up with an answer.
How many miles do you put on a year?
It really depends. Anywhere between 12 and 15,000.
Yeah, we're not putting it on.
I try to keep them down, but
Same chassis as we have on our pickups.
Yes.
Same engine transmissions, and we've got over 200,000 miles on those, and they get used, pulling 10,000-pound
Yeah, the
trailer.
5.3 can be really good or it can be really bad, but.
Yeah, you never know.
Hoping it, I doubt they put the fuel management on those. I haven't researched that, but I doubt they do because that's really the only problem you have with the 5.3 is they have that auto that shuts off half the engine. That's where you get in trouble with those lifters, but you don't really hear that much on those.
So a quick question, so on the transportation, they were asking for a cap to say do not exceed this. And I noticed you're not asking for a dollar amount, you're just asking for the sort of to go
well,
forward.
I don't want to spend more than 20.
Okay.
I mean, I want to keep it below that number.
So I guess
a lot of the ones we look at in here are between 16 and 19,000.
So I guess the question I would have is based on that, could we amend this to say with a cap of 20,000, give you the approval going forward if we're comfortable with the idea of doing this? Because if there's another vehicle that comes up, I don't want us to have to lose out on it because we have 2 weeks until our next city council meeting.
Well, I've given him 3 vehicles. This was the one we wanted.
Is it still available?
No, that one's gone. That's what I was saying. I mean, that one's already gone because we had to come here and get approval to even talk about it.
Budgeted for this year.
And so what I'm trying to do is, they have a lot of these. We're trying to get a white one. We don't want black or gray or anything else. We want to get another white one. We're going to go back to white, I think.
How you gonna get it back?
Huh?
You gonna have it hauled?
No, Doug is actually going to his daughter's graduation from the Naval Academy in the Great Lakes, and he would bring it back.
Okay.
If not, we just buy it.
If not, it's like a $99 plane ticket to go up
to
there.
Chicago is cheap if you want to go to Chicago.
Yeah, well, there's transports bringing stuff like that by.
And that too, yeah.
In that case, I'm gonna make the motion except with an amendment to it indicating that with allowing to spend up to 20,000 if a vehicle is found. So basically, you recommend the council allows the purchase of a used police vehicle with a max of $20,000.
Councilman Graybon made the motion that we approve the purchase of a used police car and not, or
Not to
vehicle
exceed.
not to exceed $20,000. Do I have a
Yeah.
second?
Will that be enough?
Yes, sir, because actually, even if I spend 20,000, which isn't my goal, I would still be able to outfit it with new equipment cheaper than I would be able to buy a single car for without equipment.
Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Audi. Any further discussion? No further discussion. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda this evening is to appoint Jason Carr to the fire department and entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
It's been moved by Councilman Graybon that we approve the appointment of Jason Carr to the fire department. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman McMillan. Any further discussion?
Where does he work at?
Hospital. Moved here